Hey guys, my name is Ashley and welcome back to my channel, Worth the Read, where we talk about books that are worth your time reading in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, which is September the 15th through October the 15th, which I don't know why they separated like that, but October, Spanish Heritage Month, September, Spanish Heritage Month. And the fact that my channel is all about diversity among booktube family, I decided to do a all Hispanic author Amazon book haul. Let's get right into it. Out of the 5 books I purchased, the first book is Bruja Born by Zoraida Cordova. And I'm going to try to pronounce these names right. This book is about a young lady who is a witch. She's a bruja. And she has a younger sister who also has special powers. And once her younger sister gets her powers, she starts to feel isolated from her family. And then she gets this boyfriend who makes her feel great. Unfortunately, there's a car crash or a bus crash, and her classmates, including her boyfriend, all die. So she decides to use her powers of healing to bring her boyfriend back. But of course, something goes terribly wrong. And not only does her boyfriend come back, something else comes back. When I read the description about this book, I thought of Children of Blood and Bones. It's not similar with the concept, but with the whole lineage of family members having special powers. I don't know. It just made me think of that. So, and I love the cover. Look at the cover. It's beautiful. Mauve. Beautiful cover. So, of course I had to purchase it. And this is the first book. Out of all the books I purchased, I plan on reading this first. This next book is by an author who is Puerto Rican and African American descent. And her name is Ida Leon, and the book is The Accidental Mistress. Now, this book checks off 2 major boxes in my book loving heart. That is of African American descent, Hispanic descent author, and urban fiction. Now, I said it before, I don't like the term urban fiction because to me that means black fiction. But I love urban fiction. I'm a huge urban fiction fan, and this is why I started my booktube channel, because a lot of booktubers don't talk about urban fiction. And it's a great genre to read. It's very entertaining. It's like reading a movie. It plays out in your head. It's drama, it's love, it's fight, it's sex, it's drugs, it's money, it's everything. Urban fiction. But this book is about 2 young sisters, Lily and Violet, who come to the States from Trinidad. One gets to New York and becomes a stripper and is making her way through life as a stripper. And the other ends up attending Harvard, engaged to this wealthy fiance, and has this prestigious job until the day she decides to help a young lady in distress. And she's mistaken to be the mistress of a... Hold on one second. Sorry guys, I'm back. My aunt has discovered Duo on FaceTime. Well, Duo is basically like FaceTime for Android, Google. She called me. But back to the book. She ends up helping a stripper and being mistaken for a strip club mogul's mistress, and ends up involved in his case of embezzling money, and she ends up losing everything. And the process about the book is her, I'm assuming her trying to get her life back on track. How do you go from being a prestigious person and graduating Harvard, getting ready to get married, to being mistaken for a mistress and end up in trouble because you're accused of embezzling strippers' earnings? It just sounds crazy. It sounds all over the place. And that's the good thing about urban fiction. It's just so juicy. I love it. I love it. So, like I said, Bruja Born will be the first book I read. This most definitely will be the second book. And I fly through urban fiction. I don't know what it is about it, so it will not take me long to read this book. I will let you know how great it is as soon as I finish. The author, this is part of a book series, A Justice Hustler novels, which she has a bunch of different books under that umbrella of book series. And I don't think that they have to be read in order. This is a third book. The books have nothing to do with each other. They're just a collection of books under the Justice Hustlers novels. But check it out. If you have never read urban fiction, I suggest you start with The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier to break you into urban fiction. But I will let you know how good this book is. I have a feeling I'm going to love it. The third book in my Hispanic Heritage Month book haul is Summer of the Mariposas by Guadalupe Garcia McCall. This book also has a supernatural themed. This is basically, they said, a Mexican-American retelling of the Odyssey. Now, I've never read the Odyssey. This is about 4 young girls, sisters, who live in Texas and go to their local watering hole to swim and find a dead body. And they decide to embark on the journey of returning the dead body home. And of course, the dead body is clearly a Mexican man, which means they have to travel to Mexico to return the body. There are some spirit guides that assist them along the way, and then they kind of uncover some of their family's history as they return this gentleman back to his family. It sounds very interesting to me. I believe that this could be an emotional book. When you're talking about death and you're talking about family history and things of that nature, it can be very emotional. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But it looked like a good read from the back of the book. So I decided to, from the description on Amazon, because I purchased it on Amazon. So I decided to add this in my collection, and I'm looking forward to reading it. The next book I purchased on Audible, which is connected with Amazon, or I guess owned by Amazon, and that is Next Year in Havana by Chanel Clinton. Chanel Clinton is a Cuban-American author, and I purchased this book on Audible because doing some research and searching for books by Hispanic authors for Hispanic Heritage Month, I heard a lot about this book being very descriptive, which reminded me of Crazy Rich Asians. Constantly describing the opulence of the wealth that the people had in Crazy Rich Asians. And they said in this book, there's a lot of description on how beautiful Cuba is. So I said, to save me the trouble of reading a lot of descriptions again, I will listen to it on Audible. And that's what I decided to do. This book is about a young lady whose grandmother passes away, and the grandmother's final wishes was for her to scatter her ashes in her home country of Cuba. So she takes her grandmother's ashes to Cuba to scatter them, and she discovers some family secrets, and she unpacks everything that her family has kind of been covering up for a while. And I thought it was interesting. I like to read books about people learning about their heritage. And I think, unfortunately, being in America, we tend, well, Afro-Americans particularly, we don't have much information about our roots because we were taken from our homeland and brought here and told that everything we originally did was not acceptable here. So I like to read stories that, you know, have people discovering their roots and where they're originally from and their traditions as a family. And when I read the description of this book, that's what I thought of. So that's what made me purchase it. And I'm really looking forward to diving into this, listening to this on Audible. My final purchase for my Hispanic Heritage Month book haul is Fruit of the Drunken Tree by Ingrid Rojas Contreras. Now, if you have not noticed, I purchased the book in Spanish because I'm always moving too fast and trying to do too many things at one time. I did not realize that I selected this all Spanish version and not the English version of this book. And I didn't take Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. I can't read Spanish. I took French. So I just was going to send the book back to Amazon. Then I also realized that it was going to cost me almost as much as it did to send the book back as it was to purchase the book. So I decided to keep it and give it away to one of you guys. So if you're interested in this book and live in the United States, not India, I had to send the books, my two saga series I sent to my 100 subscriber winner, and I did not know he resides in India, which cost me an arm and a leg to get the books there, but not going to complain. Comment, subscribe, like. In the comment, just put your email address and I will randomly pick a name out of the hat like I did the last time, and I will send you this book. Make sure you read and speak Spanish, because that might help. So because I purchased this book in Spanish and I'm not going to read it or send it back and I'm going to just give it away, I decided to repurchase it through my Audible subscription, because I always have 1,000,001 Audible credits. So this book is it is a autobiographical book. It's loosely based on the author's life. She's growing up in an area where the town is pretty much run by a cartel drug dealer. There's kidnappings, there's murders, and her mom decides to hire a live-in nanny. Now, when the live-in nanny comes in, she's going through a lot. She's dealing with a lot. She has the pressure of supporting her family, and she kind of opens up a world for the two young ladies that she's in charge of taking care of. This is a coming of age story about women empowerment and women doing things they have to do to survive in the world. And with the climate that we are in 2018, I found it refreshing that there's a book out here like this. And you get a lot of coming of age stories that are YA, where they're more fluff and no real substance. You know, they're usually high school kids complaining about stupid stuff and not really dealing with real life issues and having to deal with, you know, living in an impoverished community, dealing with, you know, drugs and poor education and things like that. So it was refreshing to come across a book where it is a coming of age story and it's about women empowerment in 2018, written by a diverse woman, and hopefully I enjoy it. I want to love this book. So usually when I want to love a book, it can either go two ways. I absolutely adore it or I just hate it. Point blank, period. When I want to love a book, I either absolutely adore it or hate it. So we'll see how this one turns out. Again, if you want this all Spanish copy of The Fruit of the Drunken Tree, just comment, subscribe, put your email address in, and I'll pick randomly and send you the book. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as I will. I know I'm going to enjoy this one. And that is my Audible/Amazon book haul for Hispanic Heritage Month. I hope you enjoy it. I'm currently reading, because it's October and Halloween time, Don't Stay Up Late by R.L. Stine. This is, if you don't know, the author of the Goosebumps series, which I read as a child and enjoy. And this is his more young adult novel, one of his young adult novels. And I am reading it currently, and I'm enjoying it. One thing about R.L. Stine, he writes in such a way that it's easy to read. It just flows. And I thought that might be different when it comes to his more young adult books and, you know, Goosebumps are children's novels, but it doesn't. He still writes the same way. He's a great author, and I'm enjoying this book immensely. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified when I put a video up. And everybody have a great day. Many blessings. Have a safe Halloween. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. And I'm out. With my shimmy. Hit them with the shoulders. Hit them with the shoulders. Hit them with the shoulders. Hit them. Peace.